What's up, guys? Today we're going through every jab defense with counters. This is for everybody from beginner skill level to advanced skill level. Right after the intro, we'll get into every jab defense you can possibly do. Alright guys, in terms of defense, jab is obviously the one that you want to get really good at because most people use it as a rangefinder and a high percentage of shots thrown are going to be jabs. But you don't just want to have one defense. You can definitely dial in one, get really good at it, but it's important to have multiple ones because sometimes when he throws the jab, I'll be really far away. And that's a different jab defense than if I'm right here and I want to move. So we're going to talk about every possible defense you can do, and we're going to start with the most basic, which is parrying. When I'm parrying the jab, I want to make sure that I call it windshield wiping. I'm never going across, I'm going straight. Pushing straight across, getting my hand right back to my head. So if he doubles up and I go down, he can tag me on the second. So minimal motion is always beneficial for these. I clear the punch, and then once I clear the punch, my brother and I, we both prefer to follow with a cross. Everybody will have their own personal preference. I'm just going to tell you my preferred counters. So I go here to there because very quickly when I bat his arm to the side, there's a split second where he has to draw it back and my hand is already closer to his head than his arm is. So I have that little second where I can pop in. Because it's already halfway there, I'm sort of relying on a quick hip pop and just a little tag. And I have to be very diligent about finding the jaw and not catching him in the forehead because I won't get the same result. All right, number two, we're talking about slipping. When I slip a jab, there's a couple different things I can consider for my counter especially. He throws the jab. If I drop my head and I lean slightly back, I feel safer, but now when he throws his cross, I'm right at the massive power source of that punch. So when I slip a jab, when he throws, I prefer to drop my weight more towards the elbow. Now if he goes to cross, he's kind of jammed. So for me, on the counter, it makes more sense, instead of throwing a cross, if I lean back into the side, a cross is great. But if I lean in and I'm trying to put myself in that safe position, then the uppercut makes the most sense. So that's the one that I prefer for this defensive maneuver. Now let's move on to defense for the jab number three. Now we're talking about turtle shell. And turtle shell is very simply when I just have my hands here, he goes to throw, and I just take the shot off the forearm. On this one, I like to make sure that my body is fairly strong. If I'm straight like a board and he jabs me, he moves me back, which means I have zero counters. So I want to fold my stomach a little bit, and as soon as he hits me, this is the trick with counters. I want to go from tightening my body to relaxing as quick as I can and slamming that left hook in. That's my preferred counter. He throws the jab, I tighten, and then I counter, and I'm hoping that he's being lazy. If he throws his jab correctly, he throws straight out and that hand's there, I don't have a great counter off the turtle shell. But if I see him at all being sloppy there, he throws, his right arm falls. We'll switch positions here so you can see it. He throws the jab, it comes down, and then right away I come into the face. So my preferred counter off the turtle shell is just to slam the left hook in. Guys like Masato were spectacular at this. Just a punch would come and he'd counter left hook and you put people down all over the place. So the next one that I really like to use, which is not seen too frequently, is I basically take the palm of my hand and as the jab comes, I just put it up the center line and I catch it. I call it a catch. That's my defense. He throws the jab and I just meet down the middle. Now obviously, if we're already here, I won't have time to do that. So this defense is when we're at this distance and I see him push in, and you can actually move your feet, he moves in, I block right there. Now from here, I don't like to engage my hands too much because my head is a little bit exposed because I let my hand leave my head. So what I like to do as soon as I'm going here is I close my hands back to my head and I chop down to the leg. Whenever I have distance, I right away want to close that head up and be as safe as possible. So he's out of range, he moves to me, I catch, I tighten, and I low kick him and take out that thigh. All right, next we're going to talk about when they throw and you decide to lean back. You just shift the weight. We'll do a switch here again so you can just see me a little bit more. On the lean back, as opposed to the slip where I talked before about getting our weight in, now I'm shifting backwards, but I don't want to do it like I'm limboing. I don't want to square body and go like this, because now if he goes to punch me, I'm in big trouble. So I like to tip my body slightly sideways and put my weight over this leg. So if he goes to throw, I can roll under and have somewhere to go. I never want to be in that limbo position. When he throws at me and I lean back, from there, the one that I like to use is right into the cross. And you see guys like McGregor use this. The trick is, if you overcommit to your fade back he throws, and I'm here, as I start to come in, he's going to pull his jab back, and then he's covered. So I have to be very particular. When he throws at me, I almost want the punch to touch me, but not have any more distance to go through. So he throws at me, I come there, and then I come back onto the cross. And the final defense that I can think for a jab that is super effective, maybe you guys have others. If you have others that I haven't listed after this, throw it down in the comments below and let me know. Maybe I'll learn something. But when he throws the jab, I like to raise my elbow up. And I really like this one because it ricochets the shot up, which is just spectacular for not taking massive impact. From here, what I like to do, because he's exposed and I've already pulled my back shoulder a little further behind, there's so much torque for me to counter cross. Even if he gets his hands back to his head, I'm coming with loads of power, and most likely I'm going to knock him backwards, and then I can worry about following up with my second or third punch. One of my favorites, if you guard up right when we're done, so he throws the jab, he guards up, I come 1 and then to 2. Most likely, and in my experience, the cross isn't going to land a lot if this guy's a very high skill level, if he's close to your skill level, but the body shot is almost always there. The jab comes up, and then bang, and then down to the body. All right, guys, these are the 6 jab defenses with my preferred counters that I can think of. There's nothing else that I can really establish aside from maybe a little bit of footwork or something like that. If you can get all of these down, you become more difficult to land on because you can move from one to the other, as opposed to always having the same jab defense where eventually the guy catches on and he can make adjustments and start landing something else. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you have not already, guys, get subscribed, train hard, and I'll see you back here soon for another video.